Facebook going on the other, but it doesn't seem like it's working out that way. So anyway, we'll just see how it ends up working out and roll with it, right? No problems. There's only solutions. This is the Kong family. We've got solutions, baby. And so anyway, yeah, we're here live on the Kong Family Show. We've got the recording button going, and it okay. It looks like a good thing there. What's going on with it there, Roger? Thanks, buddy. So,
Hey,
let me ask you something. Show me that again, Roger. Show me that again real quick.
JJ, you might want to mute everybody. You got a lot of reverb going on.
I'm not sure where that's all coming from.
It might be from Shawn. Somebody left his on.
Probably Shawn. Is that getting rid of it?
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, Shawn's up on his way to Idaho to go pick up his son, and he's had to stop and get some fuel. So looks like that's what you're doing there, Dan. You putting in your morning fuel.
My morning smoothie every day.
Awesome. Yes, you gotta love it. Smoothies with Kong.
Hey, and JJ, before you start today, JJ, I was also going to tell you, Liz is going on to San Francisco for 5 days, but when she gets back, she's been putting on some amazing training at the office about, your why and validating and using properly a three-way call. And it's really, really good stuff. I mean, we've been packing the house, and she just does an amazing job. So you might want to, if you want to fill a slot, get her on there, because that's stuff that any 1, 2, 3A that's on here could really, really use. I mean, it's dynamic stuff. She's got amazing slides. It's really, really easy to use information that any distributor can turn right around, get the script, and use it the next day. And it's also something that anybody that reaches out to her, she's willing to email to them so they can have it right there in front of them, print off copies, and it is amazing training. So just think about that.
Hey, absolutely, buddy. In fact, if you wouldn't mind, maybe you could reach out and ask her if she wouldn't mind coming on next Friday, a week from today.
I just need to see. She's flying out actually tonight, and she doesn't have a return ticket because she's going to help her sister with her brand new newborn baby. So we'll leave it tentative, but I'll definitely, she's sleeping now, but I'll get a commitment from her and, something with you.
Yeah, that'd be great. And we'd love to have her on anytime. That sounds like something that sounds like some super awesome value,
Oh, no, it's amazing training. Actually, she brought it up and I was kind of like, what? And then, and I'm learning a lot from her too. So it's amazing stuff. We should get it out there to people.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. I love it. Anything we can do to bring value every single day in one way or another, whether it's trainings, whether it's, videos, whether it's live people talking about their stories. I'm really hoping that at some point in time, I'll be able to get Dr. Michael on here live. And I really, he's spelled out his story in videos that are on YouTube, and he's been such an incredible blessing to me. I've learned so much from watching his videos, and I thought, what the heck, I might as well share those videos out, see if I can share that information that way. And then eventually he's told me that he'll come on the show. It's just a matter of getting him, working out a day that he can do it. He's super busy and, with his practice. And
for sure.
So I'm hoping to be able to get him on sometime here in the near future. And same thing with Barry Ah. Those guys are a couple of my heroes, and I really want to get a chance to meet them, because this format right here is so cool. Being able, because we can't give each other a real hug, but it's the next best thing to being able to see your faces, see your smiles, see your emotions and that kind of stuff. It's something that text messaging just can't do. And so I love going through this format and being able to hook up and work with people and, of course, share as much value as we can. We are the Kong family, baby, and we've got this really simple goal. We just want to change the world. And, that's what we're doing. And Hey, Shawn, how is it that we're doing that again?
5 water at a time, baby.
1 glass of 9.5 Kangen water at a time. 1 awesome video, 1 awesome person, 1 lightning bolt in a box at a time. And that's
2 gallons a day.
About it. It's pretty interesting sharing out stories because every single day there's things to share out with our family out there changing the world, hooking another person up with a lightning bolt in a box, another business, another restaurant, you know. And so it's really awesome to just see it happening on a daily basis, because we happen to know that every time somebody gets their new lightning bolt in a box, it's going to change their life for the better. We know that. We watch it happen with every single person that actually drinks the water and utilizes the machine for all of its many, many, many uses that it has. And so it's just a gift every day to know that we get to help people change their lives for the better. I know it's something that has really changed my life in a huge way. And so anyway, with all that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and I've got Dr. Michael queued up here, and I'll share the computer sound, optimize, and let's just see if we can get him on here and rock his story about Skylar. All right, there we are. I'm gonna minimize all of our pictures.
It was so impactful, and it seems to have affected so.
I'm gonna start him over. And hopefully I'm getting good enough service that it will play. Oh, come on. Dang it. May have the same problem that I got to figure out a way to get Ethernet down here into my office so that I can hardwire in, because obviously my Wi-Fi is not enough. Come on. Technical difficulties.
Do you want me to start singing some theme music or something while we wait? Some hold music?
Yeah. Why don't you do that, Shawn? Entertain us. We got to find some way to get entertained around here, right? Yeah, it's not looking. It looks like I'm going to have to run upstairs. Dang it. I was hoping that it might work this way, but it's not going to. So I'm going to run up and hardwire in. This video is only like 15 minutes long, so bear with us, kids. We'll make this happen.
Hey, and I might lose you. I'm going on top of one of the higher passes in the state in about an hour, so I might lose you. Either way, I'll be hanged up like new kids on the block till you get back.
Sounds good, buddy. Let me run up to the Ethernet cable, get my living room office set up. I gonna have to interfere on my sweetie's morning routine. Okay. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get myself an Ethernet cable downstairs. Let's see if that does the trick for us. Now we are hardwired in.
Hey, Tom, JJ, you got big muscles, right?
Well, I'm working on them.
Big muscle.
I need to work a little harder.
Make it swelling, eh?
Come on, why are you not playing?
You know, it works like an operator.
It probably
see
is
some
the
pretty-
operator.
Oh, wow. That looks
Awesome
nice.
Rendition.
It explains,
That's what I'm in right now.
Nice.
The Bitterroot Mountain. Yeah,
Yeah,
can
we-
you guys see the white caps and stuff?
Yep.
Huh? Yeah. That's where I'm heading up into. I gotta cross over that bad boy. So I'll probably lose you guys, but I'll stay. And there's the Bitterroot River over here on the right side.
Yeah, you sound like a robot, man.
I do.
okay, let's try this again here. No, we're still live. We are still live. I'm going to go back to sharing again. Share desktop 1. Yeah, Roger, I think you're probably right. It's probably operator error. Let's see. I'm just like everybody else. I'm perfectly imperfect.
We're all that way. We're learning every day, man.
Amen. I feel sorry for people that don't learn something new every day.
Yeah, that's the same way. Like if you don't do workouts, then you're dying. Like your muscles are dying. And that's the same here. If you don't learn, you're dying.
Man, it's crazy. I spend like $80 a month on internet, and it is so frustrating how slow it can be sometimes.
Yeah, JJ, there's a system out there that you can have internet for free.
That would be nice. I wonder if it'd have the kind of speed that I need.
Yeah, I could use that too. I pay $80 a month out here in the sticks.
I pay 85.
Good Lord.
Canadian.
But you're in Canada, man. So you guys, they tax everything.
Oh, it's terrible on tax.
Yeah, no, I don't want no part of that, man. But I love my Canadians. I tell you what, my flames flamed out like a bunch of punks. Punks. Right there.
Oh.
Punks. They baited on me hard. Yeah, let Colorado get them. But my great uncle, Lloyd Gabby Gronsdahl, he played for the Boston Bruins back in the 40s. He got called up from the WHL. He had like 4 goals, 4 points in like 10 games, and then he got called into the RCAF. So they went into World War II, and he had 10 games. He never got back into the NHL when he got back from service. But he was coming on hot, too, and he got drafted like 10 or 12 games after he got onto the Bruins. So I've got a little family history with the Bruins, the old Gronsdals, Norwegians. Isn't that right, Karola, Bergen?
Yes.
That a girl. Hoofda.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's see here, kids.
Time won't give me time, 'cause time makes a lover feel like they got something real. You and me, boy, we only got nothing but time. 'Cause time won't give me time, no. JJ, give me time. Hey. That's the best time reference song I could come up with.
Oh man.
Yeah, don't quit my day job.
Encore!
Yeah, I don't know. I can't quit my day job. That's probably why I got no functioning glass in my bathroom where my shower is. It's all been shattered. No. Oh.
Welcome to this edition of Dr. Michael Explains. Today we're going to be discussing the Skylar story.
Look at that.
We've had a lot of Welcome to this edition of Dr. Michael Explains. Today we're going to be discussing Skylar's story. We've had a lot of requests that we put it out there because it was so impactful and it seems to have affected so many lives that we just wanted to share it. And so I've put together this presentation. I've called it The Magic of Skywater, and the reason I did that is because it really did seem to defy everything I knew clinically speaking. And much like magic, once you understand the science behind it, it takes the mystery out of it. And so what I've done in this series is I've tried to take that science and make it as easily to explain as possible. So here we are, the magic of Skywater. My qualifications for background, for starters, is I was graduated as a chiropractor back in September of 1996. And since then I've specialized in alternative care therapies, biofeedback, functional medicine. My wife and I even helped develop some protocols called the emotional recalibration. It's a couples integration protocol. We do computerized nutritional assessment, endocrine stress specialists, and whole body detoxification. We kind of treat the body as a whole, not just as individual components. But in May 28th of 2009, we went to the School of Hard Knocks because Skylar was born with gastroschisis. That is a very debilitating short gut syndrome, emotionally devastating syndrome where the child is literally born inside out. And the biggest complication of that is acute dehydration. And that's kind of what led us to where we are today. In fact, you sitting here in front of your television or your computer watching this. Here's what gastroschisis is. That's Skylar, the day she was born. In that tube is stomach, liver, pancreas, spleen, small intestine, large intestine, bladder, right ovary. They had been tucking it all back in. And what was left was in this tube. Now, it's interesting to note that as swollen as this is, when they talk about an inflamed bowel, this should be a lot smaller, narrower, a little bit bigger than this, kind of the diameter of a pencil. And you can see it's about the diameter of a finger. When this happened, we were just completely devastated, and we didn't know what to do. And so we just hung on for dear life. And here's a picture of Skylar literally hanging onto my finger. She was really tiny. At which point I had decided that I was going to step up to the plate, and I promised her that whatever it took I would do, and short of moving heaven and earth, if I could, I would. Well, just when you think things can't get worse, they often do. And here you see where the bowel actually ruptured, and she got fecal contamination of the abdominal cavity and in all kinds of infections. Here she was hooked up to all of the equipment. She went through 2 different colostomies and a resection. She was in the hospital for a year and a full year, 2 weeks shy of her first birthday, actually. Then when she came home, she was on feeding tubes, feeding ports. That right there is a Mickey button. My daughter asked, is that a Mickey? Is that a Disney souvenir? It's definitely not a Disney souvenir. That's where it actually goes right straight through the stomach. And we would force feed her. To say that it was overwhelming was an understatement. We thought once we finally brought her home with 100 hours a week of home health care. It was unbelievable. Some of our trials had just begun. Here she looks like an angel, quite literally. She's got the most amazing blue eyes I've ever seen. But with acute dehydration syndrome, you can have a good day, and then the body just shuts down, and it almost excretes water. And this is her just a few hours later after we had revived her at the hospital. When we left the hospital originally, they said, hey, you have to weigh her every few hours. If she starts to lose weight, get in the car, drive straight to the hospital, and don't wait for the paramedics to get there because they won't know how to get an IV into her, so just head straight here. If you call 911, get a police escort. Well, that happened, and I called Scottish Rite, and I was stunned when the emergency room doctors met me at the valet for the children's hospital and took her out of the car. At that moment, I knew this was a bad deal. Triage is the way that they rank mortality rates and who's got the worst wounds. Well, if you have an emergency room doctor taking your child out of the car, that's a really bad day. When that happened, I became a hydration expert by default. We tried waters, water filters, ionizers, nutrition, alkaline water machines, alkaline water ionizers. I have been through the gamut of them. I have personally owned and or used more than 8 different water machines. I ended up with heavy metal issues, corrosion, a lot of mold in my whole family, and that's where I became an opponent of alkaline water ionizers. I am to this day. The water that we ended up using comes from what's called electrolyzed reduced water, and it's alkaline by default. It means that, you know, it just happens because the water's worked. But you can have alkaline water in a lot of different forms, and I'll discuss that in a moment. To say that we were having a rough time with Skylar is a bit of an understatement. She was on force feed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She had liquid stools constantly. Every morning was literally a nightmare. If we didn't catch it just in time, it went all through the bed, the blankets, the stuffed animals. We actually had a piece of plastic underneath the crib so that it didn't ruin the carpet again. In the meantime, she suffered with severe distension, a lot of gas, a lot of cramping. The diaper rash she had was so bad, it looked like when you open a package of hamburger and you flip it over, it's all weepy. They gave us this Ilex, which is an industrial grade diaper rash cream that looked like silicone caulking that you use on your bathtub. Anyways, on top of that, we couldn't get away. We had absolutely no downtime because nobody really wanted, you couldn't really just have somebody come in and sit other than nurses. And so it was a rough time for us. And then there was Amy and her SD501. It was kind of funny. She came into my office on October 12th and she's like, oh, you got to try our water. It's different. I'd already been through so many water ionizers. I was pretty much the expert. So we argued, we debated, we bantered back and forth. And as God would have it, fate would have it, whatever, Amy was laying on the table when we got the bad news about Skylar. Her test results had come back in and she had failure to thrive, anemia, blood in the stool, poor fat and protein metabolism. She was basically at failure to thrive. And Amy pipes up and says, Dr. Michael, Skylar doesn't have to suffer because you're too stubborn to try the water. I'll give it to you for free. Not the thing to say to a parent who's tried as much as we had. We had been through everything with Scottish Rite, alternative, water, you name it. And I was really insulted, but I kept my mouth shut, and it was one of those moments where that still small voice inside says, just listen. So I had that, okay, fine, I'll sit down, but I'm standing up on the inside kind of mentality. I said, look, I'm done arguing with you this. Bring me your water. I'll give it to her. I'll cross my T's, I'll dot my I's. In 30 days when we run these tests, I'll prove to you that it doesn't work. And sure enough, within 10 minutes, we had a jug, and I was like, wow, this lady's incredible. So end of the day, I took it home, handed it to my wife, and said, here's the water for Skylar. It's from Amy. Just let her try it. And I explained what was going on, and we didn't really have anything else to do or try because we had been doing everything else. There was nothing else left. There was no stone unturned. There was no new barrel to dig to the bottom of. We were at that. And within 4 short days, I was eating crow for breakfast and needed some water to wash it down. Amy had given us the water on a Thursday, and on Monday, the charge lasts 3 or 4 days. But in that 4 days, 80% of her symptoms were gone. The belly had softened up. The C. diff, the smell had started to dissipate. The cramping was gone. The bowel sounds were gone. In fact, in 10 days, I was shaving, and I heard her scream and say that there was a snake in the bathroom, and I went running. And it was her first solid bowel moment. She actually thought that a snake had crawled out of her belly. 6 months after that, we removed all the feeding ports, which was just mind-boggling. And the difference with the SD501 is it produces a medical grade water that's called electrolyzed reduced water. It sure felt like a cure. It was a miracle in our minds. The reality of it is it was just simple science. It did not cure Skylar. There were a lot of pieces to Skylar's puzzle. The water was, and to this day still is, 72% of her puzzle. And by that I mean, if she doesn't drink fresh Kangen water, her stool will loosen up. She doesn't have an ileocecal valve. She's got bacterial issues because of what she's been through. They removed 17 centimeters of her bowel. But simply put, electrolyzed reduced water gives you the best possible 72% of your body to work with to facilitate the nutrition, detoxification, energy, health, healing. Electrolyzed reduced water is basically active oxygen, molecular hydrogen, hydroxyl anions with a high ORP. To this day, I have tested a lot of machines, and the SD501 tests out the best. The biggest standard I use is Skylar. It either works or it doesn't. Like I said, it's not a cure, it's just science. It realistically may save your life, but if you don't make healthy choices, your health benefits will not be as effective and they won't last as long. Like I said, it's not going to cure you. It's going to provide your cells with the necessary tools that they need to do their job. Within 6 months, this was Skylar, a little ballerina. It's hard to believe that 6 months prior to these pictures, she was on feeding tubes. This is more recent, straight to the top. That's her rock climbing. She is 5 years old. There is nothing that holds this girl back. This was some pictures we had done recently this fall. She's just a pistol. She lives life to the fullest, and she's about as sweet a child as you can imagine. And there she is today. So why the water? Well, the difference between the healthiest person and the sickest person is basically broken down into two parts. Your muscles, ligaments, bone, organs, tissues, minerals, all these things add up to 28% of the patient, or the person. The other 72% of every person on the planet is just water. What we found out is not all water is equal. We know, we tried them. Distilled water, reverse osmosis water, filtered water, alkaline water, ionized water, alkaline ionized water. And then there's something that's called electrolyzed reduced water. You can research this in PubMed. Don't waste your time on Google. If you're Googling all this stuff, you're going to get confused. If you do a PubMed search for electrolyzed reduced water, you'll be astounded at the level of research. Electrolyzed reduced water is very different from alkaline ionized water. Electrolyzed reduced water is water that's been zapped with enough electricity to break it apart, and that releases molecular hydrogen, active oxygen, hydroxyl anions, and gives it a very high oxidative reduction potential. This all leads to superior hydration for the athlete, for the health conscious, and for the sick. All water, alkaline ionized water, is not electrolyzed or reduced. But all electrolyzed reduced water is alkaline by default because of these hydroxyl anions. It's a huge difference. So once we started using it for Skylar, we started using it for all the kids. Our daughter Jackie suffered from dehydration headaches. Not anymore. Connor trains unbelievably hard at gymnastics, 4 days a week, 4 hours a day, with little to no lactic acid buildup. In fact, it's the only thing Lexi or Sky have really drank in 5 years. This is our daughter Jackie, as she is 16, trying out for college for goalkeeper. She's an exceptional goalkeeper, and she was one of the youngest goalkeepers to actually make the Olympic development team at 10 years old. Unfortunately, she had to quit because of our scheduling conflicts with Skylar. Connor just took first place in the state of Georgia in his division for gymnastics. He's going to compete in regionals in West Palm Beach, Florida. He's quite a dude. The handstand there, Lexi loves to photobomb Connor. They get along really well. Lexi is our dancing star. She is exceptional, and she loves it. High energy, full bore all the way at everything. Skylar would say that Daddy kept his promise to move heaven and earth. And we've used this to try and help everybody else understand that they need to just give it a try. And so that's what we do. We thought we would try and change the world. If you'd like more information about the electrolyzed reduced water we discovered for Skylar, the SD501, how it works, how it might help you or a loved one, please see Dr. Michael Explains the Water revised. It's on YouTube right now. If you have any specific questions, you can email me at drmichaelexplains@gmail.com. For more information about the ERW that we use for Skylar, please go to skywaterinc.net. There's an information, there's a newsletter. Or if somebody pointed you to this website, get back in touch with them and hear what they have to say, because it just might mean the difference and change your life. So there you have it. I'm putting this out open source. Please don't copy it. Don't try to distribute it. Just send people to YouTube. It's not meant to be a gimmick to make money. I'm not trying to sell CDs. Just help educate people so that they can get the best water possible. With that said, have a great day. And if I can help, just let me know. Explains. In this session, we're going to be discussing electrolyzed hypochlorous acid.
We'll have to get that hypochlorous acid one going one of these days. What do you guys think of Skylar's story? Oops, unmute. There you go. You're unmuted.
That's a good story. Can't believe it, man.
That one, when I see her pictures at the end there, it always makes me cry. It always brings out tears, and I mean, it's so incredible what that little girl went through. You can just imagine that. She spent the first year of her life, 2 weeks short of a year, in the hospital with her guts hanging out in a tube.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, it kind of blows my mind that people can actually watch that video and then go, oh, what a bunch of crap. You know, it's like, I'm sorry, but those kind of people who are that freaking closed-minded, they really deserve whatever it is they get. I just hope they don't expect me to pay for what they get down the line, because they're going to get it. If we don't, the simple fact of the matter is that our bodies are eating themselves. That's why it's called catabolization. And literally the human body eats itself. It doesn't, you know, we don't go eat other people. That's cannibalism. We eat ourselves. That's called catabolism, where our body literally eats itself. That's why you see all these people that are, when they're young, you see pictures of somebody that when they're 18 years old, 20 years old, whatever, and then you see them when they're 80 years old, and you look at the difference between their bodies. They're all young, and their skin's tight and everything like that. They're strong and standing up there big, and then when you see them when they're 80 years old, they're slumped down, everything's all wrinkled. And that what people don't understand about that is that's not it, or I should say, it doesn't have to be the natural phenomenon of the way things are. And the only reason that it is because most everything we eat, most everything we drink, it causes our body to eat itself. That's what's happening, kids.
Yeah, and that's the body's made to heal himself.
Yeah. Instead of our bodies doing what they're supposed to do, where our body, you know, because this is something I learned a long, long time ago before I ever got involved with Kangen water. It was back in my USANA days. USANA is a nutritional company out there that I tried doing that business for a period of time, because anybody who's watched this show, they know that I've tried everything under the sun practically when it comes to network marketing companies and that kind of thing. And back in 1993, when I read the book World Without Cancer, that book put me on a proactive approach journey towards my health. And so I literally started, and it was kind of crazy because it was literally like a week or two after I read the book World Without Cancer, that my buddy called me up introducing me to USANA, wanting me to come to a meeting. And at the time I was coaching wrestling, and the guy that introduced me to the USANA product, he said, you can actually live on this stuff. And I said, oh, well, we'll see. Because I was actually training and coaching and wrestling competitively at the time. And I started just living on USANA. But the thing is USANA is just like every other nutritional product company out there. I don't care who it is, whether it's Isogenics or Visayo or Mary Kay products or New Skin or, whatever. I don't care what their name is. It doesn't matter. They're all missing one thing. They're missing electrolyzed reduced water, AKA Kong's water. That's what they're missing. Every single one of them. USANA included. I've been eating USANA nutritionals for 26 years now. And it's made a big difference. But once I started adding Kangen water to the equation, the amount of USANA that I needed to eat was cut in half. I don't need to eat as much. And so it saves me a lot of money, and I still get the great results. And, so for people out there that have their different nutritional companies and whatever, fine, that's great. It's awesome. They all have their good points and that, but they're all missing the same thing. Every one of them. They're missing Kong. And that's what this is all about. That's why we're here. That's why you guys are here. That's why you're doing what you're doing, is because you want to share the magic that is Kong's water, and you want to learn as much as you can about it, because the more you learn, the better chance you have of being able to pass your knowledge on to other people.
Just like Plexus too?
What's that?
Did you hear about Plexus?
About what?
Plexus?
What's that? No, I haven't heard of it.
No, it's a natural products too. So, so it's probably missing the same thing, like the Kangen water has that Plexus doesn't have, right? So a lot of people are using Plexus too. So they got positive healings of PLEXUS. Plexus.
Because people might, is this something you guys are involved with and utilizing?
I'm involved with in it already.
Is it a networking company as well?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Quite frankly, you guys, all the good nutritional products that are out there in the world, all the good ones, every single one of the good ones, they are distributed through network marketing. All of them. Anything that is on a store shelf is garbage. Anything that is at General Nutrition Center, which is one of the biggest nutrition companies in the freaking world, everything that is on their shelves is garbage. Every bit of it. And in fact, it's so interesting, the story about USANA, why USANA exists, is that the guy who founded USANA, and keep in mind, I'm not a USANA distributor anymore. I gave up on that a long, long time ago, but I never gave up on the products. I still eat the products. I don't try to share them with anybody. I don't care. Whatever. Go get them if you want to. I don't care. You're not getting them through me. You go get them from somebody else, and they'll happily, go find yourself a USANA distributor, and they'll happily hook you up on your monthly buy it plan. Fine. I don't care. I'm not into that. And the reason why is because I've come to the understanding that none of these products are worth piss unless they get Kong's water on top of them. And I've done tests in Kong's lab to prove it. You can see that these drinks that they sell that are supposed to be so good for you, they all have high positive ORPs on them. And if, I'm sorry, kids, it's not my gig. I'm not the one who built this thing. I didn't build this. God did. You know, God and my mama and my papa, they're the ones who built this thing. I didn't build it, you know. So it's not my gig. But I just know that from the research and the things that I've learned, that these are the facts of the matter. This is the truth of the situation. And I only deal in truth and facts. And if someone comes up with something that contradicts my truth and my facts, I listen to it. My paradigm has shifted many times over the last 26 years because the truth came to me and I found out about it and I shifted my thinking one way or the other. People have often accused me of being so, you know, you just know everything. No, no, I don't. I don't know anything. I am on a constant learning mission to learn and then take what I learn and share it with other people out there in the world. That's what this place right here is all about. That's why I'm coming in here every single day. That's why I'm striving to get people on here so that we can all learn and we can all benefit from each other's knowledge. But, you know, the thing about it is that it doesn't have anything to do with money. It has to do with saving people's lives. It has to do with the fact that I can't stand seeing people suffer needlessly. And so I've got to do everything I can to change that. But as far as that company you're talking about, Karola, would you please share that out so that, because there might be people out there who are going to listen to this and they might want to learn about that product and they might want to get it from you. But the only way they're going to be able to learn about it, the only way they're going to be able to get it from you is if you tell them how. How can they do it?
Yeah, because I'm selling it actually. I'm still on it. I actually got on it. I wanted to improve my health as well. So I had always the flu. Like the sun, as soon as the weather changes, I always was sick, right? So that's why somebody showed me that, and then I signed up last April for it. So that's how I got involved on it.
Now, did you eating that product when, you know, because I'm assuming that because you were eating it, was it at the same time as you got Kong, or did you find out about that other product before Kong, after Kong? Have they both been entwined together? How does that work?
Well, I found out about Plexus before I got involved to Kangen water, because I only got to know Roger in October, right? So then it was when I started to use a bit of Kangen water. But when I got more involved in Kangen water was actually end of December last year when I moved into his house, right? So that's where I started to use Kangen water all the time.
And how would you describe the difference with that? I mean, what we're talking about here is that product that you're talking about, that you've been eating, that nutritional product, has the fact that you've added Kangen water to that equation. Has that made a difference for you?
I would say yes, because I can heal my body way faster now. I don't need other pills for it. If I have like painkillers, I sometimes use Advil on it. But lately I pulled out a tooth of mine, and after that I haven't used other products than like Plexus or the Kangen water, right? Mm-hmm. I can prove that the Kangen water is working, right? So, but the people don't believe it. They believe water is only water, right? But what can you do? If they only believe that, then I have my uncle and aunt too on it. But my uncle is very skeptical right now. So he believes he can get the machine cheaper than like for 800 maybe or so, or 2000, and so not the Kangen machine. He doesn't is not much interested right now on it, so he doesn't believe that the Kangen water can do miracles, right?
Yeah. Well, the Kangen water doesn't do miracles. This does the miracles. But if you can get him, I would really encourage you to try and get him to watch the video, Dr. Michael Explains the Competition. Because he's owned 8 different water ionizers. And those 8 different water ionizers that he owned, they turned him into a massive opponent of these waters. You know, this is BS. It's a bunch of crap. It's a ripoff. It's, you know, he was against it in a huge way until Amy come along, that he just talked about in that video about Skylar. When Amy came along and gave him Kong's water, it changed everything. And he actually explains why. There is nothing out there in the world like Kangen water at this point. Maybe someday there will be, but right now there isn't. And that's it. That's all there is to it. There's nothing. And people have to do their own due diligence. If they're going to go do their research, because I guarantee you that's what your uncle did. He went on to Google.
Yeah, he did.
And he punched in Kangen water. And when you punch in Kangen water on Google, you don't get Enagic. That's not what you get. You don't get Enagic's website. If you punch in Kangen water on Google, what you get is all of our so-called competitors. Like the first 10 things you'll see are our so-called competitors saying how they're just as good for half the price, and we put bleach in our water and chemicals, and just such a bunch of nonsense. It's actually frustrating, which is part of the reason why I did the Kong Family Show earlier in the week, where we showed Dr. Michael's video about the competition. Because these people are literally, they're causing damage to people. They're selling inferior plates, inferior power supplies, inferior everything, and they're acting like they're the exact same as Kong's water, but they're not. If they, you know, they love to bash us because we have the electrolysis enhancer tank. The salt water. It's salt water, kids. That's all it is. Salt water.
Because he asked me too, like lots of people are asking why nobody knows about Kangen water if that's so good, right? So
people do know about it. But you know, if you tell him that in Japan, Kangen water machines are in about 60% of the households. All of the hospitals use Kangen water. They use it to disinfect the hospital. They use it to clean the hospital. And everybody that comes into the hospital, the first thing they do is they get tested for their alkalinity. And then they start getting fed Kangen water.
Yeah, that's why I tried to explain to him too, but he doesn't understand it right now. So like I said, they did a research at work one day. He and his boss, he said, and Kangen water is not as good as you were saying, he says. And then I was stuck, like, because I'm just starting with Kangen, right? And I just was stopped and didn't say anything about it because I wanted to get more knowledge on it to get back to him, right?
Right, yeah. And, you know, I got to tell you, Karola, I've had the exact same situation. One of my dear nieces, she needs this water so bad. Her child needs it. Her husband needs it. And she did her research right in the beginning. And, you know, they can't afford it. You know, she just got a big old giant diamond wedding ring from her husband to be, but they can't afford Kong. No, can't afford it. Well, you know, kids, you're going to pay now or you're going to pay later. It's up to you whether you get to pay, because that's just the simple facts of the matter. If you don't give your body what it needs to run properly, it's going to break down. It's just a matter of time. I don't care how healthy you are now. I don't care how hard you work out. I don't care what kind of nutritional products you eat or what kind of, you know, what is it? What's the big thing for vegetables and such? Organic. You know, I don't care how much organic food you eat. I don't care how vegan you are. I don't care how much of a vegetarian or meat eater or whatever you are. It doesn't matter. If you're not getting electrolyzed reduced water into your body is eating itself, period. That's all there is to it. And, you know, we can't force people to do anything. And like the old saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But you can sprinkle salt in its hay to make it thirsty. So that's what we want to do, is continue to put salt in people's hay to make them thirsty, for knowledge. And hopefully they will do the right thing. They will not be so stubborn, and they'll at least look and pay attention. And at the very least, like Amy said to Dr. Michael, I'll give you the water for free. Just give it to her.
Exactly, that's what I'm doing.
Yes.
Give it to my uncle and to her uncle.
Yes, and as long as they'll drink it, and they'll, you know, this is the other thing, you guys, when you're giving this water to people, if they're not going to cut out the soda pop, if they're not going to cut out the Red Bulls, if they're not going to cut out the alcohol and that kind of thing, if they're not going to cut that stuff out, if they're still going to keep eating crappy cereal and whatever kind of garbage for food, the water's not going to have the kind of effect that it will if they'll cut that other stuff out and go with Kong. You know, if they'll do that, then they will see a transformation in their life, especially if they're sick. People who are sick, people who have health issues, they notice the most drastic differences. Like for me, my main difference was no more heartburn. Even though I still have some beer and still have you know, whiskey. I used to, my favorite evening drink was whiskey and Coke. But I haven't had a Coca-Cola for 2 years now, more than 2 years. I'll literally never drink another Coke the rest of my life. I won't do it. You know, if I want some whiskey now, I mix it with some Kong's water and some ice, and that's it. And, you know, any juices that I do, I always do juices and make sure that I use the concentrated juices that come in the little cans, and I always make sure that there's no, what is that, high fructose corn syrup in there. And the thing is I've used my ORP meter to do some interesting tests on this, because I've zeroed down. I love cranberry juice, and I drink this cranberry juice, and I've mixed it with my regular tap water and done an ORP test on it, and it has a high positive ORP. When I take that exact same juice, mix it up with Kong's water, it has a high negative ORP.
So that's neutral.
No, that's a high negative ORP. I'm getting the negative, like it registers like a negative 250, 350 negative. Wish I could shut that off, dang it. Somebody must be trying to sell me something.
Unplug it.
But yeah, so the thing is like I always say, Kong makes everything better. It doesn't matter what it is. If you mix it with Kong's water, it's going to make it better. But now, if you take Sprite or Coke or Red Bull and you mix it with Kong's water, it doesn't make it better.
No.
That stuff is so horrible for your body that not even Kong's water can help it. And, you know, like, this is what the word is if you drink 1 20-ounce Sprite, just 1 20-ounce Sprite, it takes 6 gallons of Kong's water, 9.5, to neutralize that 1 20 ounces of Sprite in your body. That's how much that stuff is for you. And So yeah, that's what our goal is, you guys, is just to basically continue to share information, to share the love, to try and stay, you know, I'll admit, you guys, it's tough to not get frustrated with people that are sick, that are suffering, and they won't pay attention. It is frustrating, but we need to try our best to stay focused and still keep bringing the love and just keep bringing the information and putting it out there, because like Sam Tran always says, for him, it took a tragedy for him to wake up. He had people telling him about Kangen water, and he didn't want anything to do with it. He thought water's water, and he was right. Water is just water. Kangen's water is something completely different. It's completely different. For about 48 hours after it comes out of that machine, it is different. But after about 48 hours or so, it just turns back into regular old, plain old poisonous water again. There's a time period. That's why it's so important for people to have the water machine and drink it as fast as possible out of the machine. The sooner you drink it out of the machine, the better it is for you, period. And it does lose its electrical charge. It does go back onto the grapes, go back onto the grapevine. And once they're back onto that grapevine, they're just the same old, plain old thing. And so we need to do the best we can to help people understand this, that they are correct when they say water is just water, because it is. But we have something different for a period of time. You know, a lot of people say that Kangen's water will last for 3-4 days. That's not what my ORP meter says, because I've tested it. Checked it. I have an ORP meter for a reason, because it doesn't lie. The voltage doesn't lie. You're talking about simple science and simple metering, and it doesn't lie. And, you know, I can take the water, put it in a glass, have that glass sitting there on the countertop, measure it right out of the machine, and it's measuring like a negative 800 out of my machine because I have such incredible source water. But let that glass sit there for a couple of hours, come back with the ORP meter a couple hours later, and it's dead. It's now registering a positive ORP.
Oh my. Yeah, my aunt would like to use it, but she is now a little skeptic too, because my uncle did the research on it, but she says I'm still using it, but she doesn't drink much water, right? So I have to get her to drink more water, and she has to get used to drink more water too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, all you can do is just keep giving them the water and then keep trying to put little tidbits in there. You know, if your uncle did some research on Google, that might mean that there's a chance he'll be willing to do some more research somewhere else. Yeah. And, you know, that's what you're hoping. You're hoping that somebody will, because they did one research in one place, that they might have the gumption to do some more research in another place when somebody who loves them tells them, you know, hey, check this out. And personally, I think the best person to utilize for that kind of research is Dr. Michael. Those videos are all there. They're all up on YouTube. Just punch in Dr. Michael Explains, and you will find all of the stuff that he's put up there. He's probably put 20 really super good videos up there where he goes into it and talks about it on a scientific level. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's exactly our man right there. So anyway, you guys, we've been here for a little over an hour, and we probably should go ahead and get busy with our days. So thank you guys so much for being in here. It's always great to see you. And to everybody out there that's the Facebook Live, that got all messed up, but this will be, it's getting recorded, and and I'll put it up onto Facebook so that this will be available for you guys to share. Roger, your hair is looking great, brother. I love it, man.
Thank you.
You're coming along. You're gonna have great hair like me, suited up.
He has to bug you all the time.
Buddy, I love it. You know, when your hair's standing on end, it brings a big smile to your face.
That's right.
All right, you kids. I love you guys so much. Have yourselves an awesome rest of the day. And remember,
I love you too.
Our goal here at the Kong family is simply to change the world. That's it. It's no problem.
Yes.
We're doing it. It's happening. And it all starts with hugs. Give yourself some hugs. Yes. Hootie-hoo. Love you guys. Have yourselves an awesome day. We'll see you tomorrow for some more fun.
Yes. See you tomorrow.
Hootie-hoo.
Hootie-hoo.
There you go.
Hootie-hoo.
Joy to my brain cell to hear people scream hootie-hoo. Hootie-hoo.
Hootie-hoo.
You guys be careful. It's addicting. Love you guys. Bye for now.
Love you too. Bye for now.